And welcome back. We're moving into our first segment for the morning. Very interesting topic. How interesting? You might think it's something to eat, but it's not. We're talking here PUC's Raspberry Pi Jam 2017. At first thought, Raspberry Pi? I thought it was something to eat. It's not. We've got the folks in to tell us all about it. In with us is Olga Urbina, who is, of course, Gough Public Relations Consumer Affairs Manager. Just trying to put what I see here.
It's Olga Urbina Gough, sorry.
Olga Urbina Gough,
Yeah.
okay. And of course, Dalwin Lewis, Consultant, Raspberry Pi Jam. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm looking forward to the conversation. Very interesting. And of course, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah.
But first things first, Raspberry Pi Jam. And when we see the PI, of course, which is pie, you might think that, you know what? This is something nice to eat. Can we get the explanation of what Raspberry Pi is? Dalwin?
Well, that's a kind of tough one, but let me try. Well, let me get rid of the name issue first. Raspberry because we wanted to play on Apple.
Okay.
And Pi because of the language we use to program the Raspberry Pi, which is Python. And then of course the jam, I'm guessing like a jamboree.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Because you already had Raspberry Pi. The jam just fits so perfectly.
Exactly.
And in fact, we have them on display here, right?
Yes.
Yes,
This
we
is
do.
essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah. So no, the actual thing we're talking about is this device here.
That's it.
This is it. This is the Raspberry Pi.
Not very tasty.
Maybe you can make a pie out of it eventually, but for now, it's actually a computer. You can hook up a monitor to it, you can hook up a keyboard, you can browse the internet using it.
Using that thing.
Using this. But the primary purpose for its development was to encourage young people to learn about technology.
Okay.
That's the primary purpose.
Yeah.
Just to say one thing, 15 million of these have been sold in the last 5 years.
15 million in 5 years.
Yeah.
My God.
So it's essentially like a starter kit for any kind of technology that you want to create. The
Yes,
brain.
That's
of
correct.
sorts.
We like to say it's for prototyping.
Okay.
Okay.
You have an idea. Let's say your son or daughter has an idea. What if I want to see if mommy left home so I can do something naughty, like watch TV or
Look for
bake.
Christmas presents.
Look for Christmas presents. He or she might actually add a sensor, add a camera, so that when the door closes, it turns on and they are notified via their some app that you have left.
With this device.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
That's one idea that
One
they can
idea.
have.
This device is such that the only thing that's the limit is your imagination. Whatever you can think of, you can create it.
So how did this come about? I mean, for real, because what you're saying is very important, and this is actually how life is today, today's age. And Marlene, you mentioned it, that this is how these kids are growing up now. How did this come around?
It came out of a practical problem. In the University of Cambridge, they saw declining enrollment in computer science. And, they asked why. And after doing research, they found out that kids now are not tinkerers. When we were growing up, we would see our remote control car, we'd take it apart. We'd see our parents' radio, we'd take it apart, see how it works. Now everything is kind of closed, so it's hard for young people to actually experiment. If I buy a $1,500 smartphone for my child, I would
You do not
be
want them
very
taking
happy
it apart.
Them taking it apart. You give them a laptop. A laptop is essentially closed.
Yeah.
They can just use it.
Yeah.
And so kids just use what it's for. They browse social media, they check their email,
Homework.
YouTube,
Yeah.
and that has locked off the idea of creativity. So kids, because they don't want to tinker, they don't want to create, then they would shy away from computer science.
Now, Olga, I want to get a bit into PUC's role in this particular competition because it goes beyond what will take place tomorrow,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the PUC has the Young, is it has a Young Innovators program, and under the Young Innovators program, we had the mobile app. That was the first thing that we had, and then after that we had the Raspberry Pi. But before we brought these in, we hired Mr. Dalwin here to go and train teachers, and of course, in collaboration with Ministry of Education, teachers from around the country were taught how to use it and how to program it. And then after that, then the PUC donated kits, Raspberry Pi kits and accessories to all the high schools that participated, and said to the teachers, go back, teach your students how to use it, and then we're going to have a competition and we want to bring you all together. And last year we had the first Raspberry Pi Jam, and it was mind-blowing to see all these things that these kids came about. And that's the PUC's role, to bring in the technology, to show how to use it, and then to help these young people create. And it's amazing. They were yearning for it. They just didn't have anything to do. And I think we opened the door for people to be able to use these things. And the things that they're doing now, it's crazy. Everything from remote control cars, that they on their phone. They have this thing that, if you go in a house and you walk in, and the motion sensor, it takes pictures of whoever's coming into your house.
Using this thing.
And the one that won last year was Curzal Community College, and they did an irrigation system. Wow. And they won because you could use that in the agricultural sector.
Yeah. And there is a role for technology in agriculture, and it's wonderful that students at high school age are learning this. Olga, tell us about the schools how many schools have been trained, and from what parts of the country so far?
We trained 34 schools. Was it 34?
I think it was about close to 40.
Close to 40 schools, yes. But 34 participated last year. Participated last year, because not all the schools that were trained participated for one reason or another. And we have participants from TCC, Toledo Community College, all the way to Curzal Community College. Yes, and so we have from one end, we have people from Ocean Academy in Key Cocker, we have Maphrodite, we have Independence High. Yeah, and so we have Belize High School. So we have a lot of the high schools that from all around the country that are coming to participate in this event.
So what are we expecting this year? I mean, 34, and we now have innovative thought using this device. What are we looking forward to this year?
Well, this year we're looking for it to be even better, because this is their second time around using the Raspberry Pi. So they took their projects home, and we told them, come bigger and better.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to experience this year. And I'm sure we will. And Dalwin knows because he's seen some of the projects, but he's tight-lipped because he wants it to be,
You won't tell us, at least. Come on. We'll bribe you with coffee.
I think the schools don't want, they want to come and wow. They start trickling in tomorrow at the Princess. And so we want to invite everybody to come out. It's November 10th.
That's tomorrow.
At 10 a.m., yes, tomorrow at the King's Room of the Ramada Princess.
And it's only for high schools?
This is the irrigation system that won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Darwin, you have to break this down for us. and I want you to share especially your experience teaching the teachers. There is a very clear generation gap between those who are in the classroom, especially for some time, because we haven't been exposed to this type of technology. While for the young people, it can be second nature because they've been growing up with technology since they were babies. So tell us about the components and how someone is able to make motion sensors and robotic cars and irrigation systems out of this one little tool.
All right. Let me start with your last question, and I'll answer your first question last. The benefit of this, and we like to say it's an open system, whereby everything's exposed to you. These pins are actually what we use to interface with the outside world via sensors. So if I have maybe a motion sensor, that will be connected to these pins, and I have to actually program that sensor to say that when you detect motion, do something, such as maybe turn on the camera. So basically, it's these pins which we call GPIO, input-output pins, that deal with the getting in data and doing something
Yeah.
based on that data.
Yeah.
So if I get a signal in, do something else.
Okay. And how many different functions can that one unit process?
Actually, in terms of speed, this is about 1 gigahertz, which is very fast. So basically, this system can do quite a lot. Actually, it can be used to deal with other types or control other types of electronics. Turn on maybe a water system or turn off.
Like we've seen.
Yeah, turn off lights, turn on your home lights.
Security system.
Security system, because we can interface with relays.
Yeah.
Right. So it's basically prototyping whatever you think you'd want to do. You can probably do it here.
And you spoke about providing full kits. There are other additional portions that you would use on the kit itself,
Yes.
as you can see in some of the videos.
The one that just came, this is the robotic car. The one that came before, that was a smart home.
Right here.
Meaning everything was with motion. This could open. You come in, it knows you. It's you. It opens the garage door. You know the security system. You come in, and it's the lights. Everything. It takes your picture. The light come on. You know, it was really innovative.
Complete with a garage.
Yeah. And so it was, you know, and the kids were there explaining, and then you're here as an adult. And you're like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
How? Yes.
You think about something.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially if you're not techie. And so, and these kids were so proud of everything that they brought. And it was amazing. It was amazing to watch. And, you know, and this year, I think it's going to be even bigger. Because
Is it only for high schools? Is it like a high school competition that we're having here?
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
Because we initially trained only
High school.
Yeah.
the high school.
Can we go back
Teachers.
to that particular response? How
Yes.
how the process was passing this information on to the teachers?
Surprisingly, the training went really well.
Those are some of the teachers there.
Given that currently the curriculum, the IT curriculum, it's basically Microsoft Office. So teachers are expected to teach high school students how to use Microsoft Office. But clearly you can see that time has changed. Students are wielding technology so easily,
Yeah.
yet they're being taught
That's what I learned in school.
Content.
Shortcuts in Office.
Me
Yeah.
too, me too.
they're still being taught
And
content
Excel.
Yeah.
that is kind of, I wouldn't even say obsolescent, I would say obsolete.
Yeah.
It's obsolete. So these are types of things we think that the modern Belizean high school student should be learning.
Of course.
Yeah.
Should be learning.
I mean, in other parts of the world, kids at primary school level are learning to code.
Oh, yeah.
This is just, it's becoming almost semi-official language,
That's right.
especially if you want to function in a professional world. So when you go to the teachers and you have to teach them, and it's most important that they grasp the concept
Yeah.
because they'll be the one imparting it onto the students. What was the discovery process like for them?
Most teachers found the interaction the fun part. And that's what a lot of teachers said. It's like, oh, this was fun. Because traditionally, most of the IT teachers in Belize high schools come from a business background.
Yeah.
So they're kind of afraid of programming. But because the Raspberry Pi, you program the hardware and you can actually see something happening, you get a better experience.
Yeah.
And everybody feels proud that they can do something and see something happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we found, that the teachers actually enjoyed it. And they said that, oh, I didn't know programming was that interesting.
You know, it's always and for everybody we want immediate response. That's
Yes.
what, that's what we want to see. Now, one of the things that shocks me, and I do mean that, man, for the fact that we're actually using this now. Actually, the high school students have shown how this could be used for irrigation. And as we know, agriculture is one of the biggest getters here in our country. Have we seen a jump, especially showing what this thing is capable of in any of our industries in the country so far?
Not yet.
No. They were invited by BTEX to go, and the same group to go and showcase what the irrigation system and how it works, and we got a lot of interest, but nothing yet that we can say we can package it and sell it yet. One of the things that we found is that from CCC, some of the graduates graduated and then went down to the sixth farm, and they entered a hackathon, and they went to Cantor, and I think it was in Dominican Republic, and won.
Wow.
And so these are the same students that but one of the things I wanted to add about the teachers, it was that the training was in collaboration with Ministry of Education. So the teachers felt that it was something that yes, they had to do because they have to do a certain amount of training in the summer, but it was actually really good because it was hands-on. It wasn't something that you're sitting there and people are talking and it wasn't boring. It was very interactive, and that's what is important about these things, because you go back, you show the kids that we're not just talking, we're actually going to create something. And I think that that's where we got such a big interest, and we got these amazing and creative inventions basically last year. And so this year, we're sure tomorrow is going to be spectacular.
And just to add, we're thinking about the future. The future is automation, and it's happening now. The cars are being automated. Driving is being automated. In 10 to 15 years, most of a lot of things in Belize will be automated.
Of course.
So we are trying to prepare our students to confidently handle that future.
How difficult is the programming?
Surprisingly,
is there specific software that goes along with the Raspberry Pi that you use to program, or?
A bit of history about programming languages. Initially, they were a bit difficult. Professionals would really have to, But there's this language called Python, and that language was specifically chosen to program the Raspberry Pi because it was designed for the beginner programmer. Even though it's a very professional language, it's used by Google and Facebook and all these companies, it was actually designed to be used by beginners. So language is not a barrier. So it actually makes it
so
easier.
it's simpler, the Python language. Is it where you use like the binary code, or that was the original programming?
That was the original programming.
That's why I think it's so hard.
That was hard. But Python is very simple. It's intuitive. It's like almost you're reading English. So you can type almost like you type English. And that's translated by the computer. In the past, no. It was a lot more difficult.
Now, you have the competition coming up. Do you know how many schools will be participating as yet?
24.
24. From all over the country?
Yes.
Now, how do you, obviously you spoke about telling them that you want bigger and better. They've had the experience last year. They kind of know the level of competition that people are bringing. It's obviously incentivized as well with prizes. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, last year actually we gave out 3D printers.
Whoa.
And so, this is new. And so this year the first place is going to be a smart board, a big white smart board. It's interactive, and so that's one of the things that we're giving. That's first place. Second place is going to be a 3D scanner with 3D pens. It's you draw and it comes out in 3D. And then the third prize is also a 3D scanner, no pens. And fourth, we even have fourth this year. Fourth is a robotic kit with 3D pens. And fifth is also a robotic kit with 3D pens. So everything is very high tech because
I know I almost want to go back to school to learn about these things.
To keep it going, because a lot of people don't know what a 3D printer is, and have never seen a 3D printer work. And so you only see, the first time I saw it was on TV. And so to see that we're bringing this technology, PUC is bringing this technology to the schools, I think it's incentive for the schools to come.
It's actually the right approach, I think, for the fact that we're actually in that era. Here in Belize, actually, we model our lives from first world countries, and so if these things are actually out there, then why not? And one of the things that that I've been noticing is that now the Raspberry Pi, I saw one of the on the video, somebody used their phone to actually out the TV, or actually out the lights. So these are the things that are actually going on now. For the competition, is there a certain bar that is set for especially to judge 1 to 4?
Yes, we have a specific set of criteria. I can't think of them right now because it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And so the judges, we got judges from from science and technology, from different people that are technologically advanced in our country, and so they're coming in to do it. And I think last year the kids got exposed to what the other ones bringing, what others, and so this year they're stepping up their game because everybody's coming to win. Yeah.
And it is an innovation challenge as well. So it's not necessarily creating what already exists. The preference is something new and applicable in Belize.
It's exactly what you said. We're looking at things that solve a problem in Belize, or if it is an existing problem and has been solved in other countries, giving it a Belizean approach.
Okay.
And that's the plan. Eventually, the bar will keep increasing. And we actually hope that from these jams, we have lots of entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I really think that we will definitely see some entrepreneurs come and say, we're going to hire you guys to come and do our irrigation system and set it up. And I really see that it's going to happen. I really feel that this is what's happening, and we're going to get that from this group of people that are coming to the PI, to the jam.
Now, it's groups of persons working together from the school under the guide of their teachers.
Yes.
How big are the teams that are putting together these ideas?
Well, we cap it at 10,
Okay.
inclusive of the teachers.
Yes.
CCC is bringing a little bigger crowd because we have the people from Kanto that are coming that one day from, what are the, IXP, what are
LXJ.
LXJ. Yeah, that one in Kanto. So we're bringing them as an attraction to come and showcase their hackathon. And so that group is a little bigger, but I think that it's basically groups of 10. So and so we're very excited to be hosting everybody.
And what's the mix between male and females in the groups?
It's mostly male. It's
Mostly males,
yeah.
but we do have, I would say, at least 2 females per group.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hope that's a goal that they will try to change
Yes,
as well.
yes. One of the things that we saw is that we didn't get a lot of interest from Belize City.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, even though the teachers were trained.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we want to look at next year. To bring them in and for them to participate.
Excellent. So is there a cost to get into where's it going to be happening?
It's at the King's Room of the Ramada Princess, tomorrow at 10 a.m. and it's completely free of cost, so everybody can come and see these inventions, and they can also come and support the young people and motivate them and say, wow, this is just mind-blowing and creative, and so I think it's good for schools to bring their students to open their eyes and to generate interest, and also adults to come and see what our young people are doing.
So we can be floored and say, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the innovative things that you saw last year at the jam.
I particularly like the robotics,
Okay.
since that's a huge area.
Yeah.
And I also like the security systems, which is definitely something that is essential in Belize.
I like the security system.
Yeah.
Security system.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, being that you were the one who actually went out to train the teachers, and so everything that has to be done with this device. What wowed you the most, seeing innovative thoughts of Belizean children?
Yeah. The irrigation system.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a real problem directly related to Belize, and they came up with something that is usable.
So that was actually like the nail on the head.
Yes.
Well, that's the one that won.
What?
Yeah.
Look at it.
And it really takes what has been a traditional type of industry and introducing new technology to solve problems. I love that as well. Now, in terms of difficulty, there's the innovation, but there's also difficulty. More than any of us here, what would be difficult to program? Which one was perhaps the most challenging that you knew the level of knowledge and application from the students had been increased beyond what you taught the teachers?
I think, if I'm answering your question correctly, the program is always the difficult part. But I would say actually understanding what you want to build
Yeah.
is also challenging.
Yeah.
But if I were to pick one, the programming.
programming.
And it's something that...
I mean, which one of the projects
Oh,
had
the
the most
project.
difficult programming? Yeah.
Definitely the irrigation system.
Okay.
That was very technically challenging.
Okay.
That was technically challenging.
Yeah.
All right,
So
excellent. And that
we've
one
heard
was-
in many different ways why that was the winning program.
yes.
Yeah. I love that. Now, 24 projects, and I'm sure you're going to see even more innovative projects coming out.
There will be a lot more innovative.
You
He's
know
seen
some
them.
of
He's seen them. Yeah, he's seen them. And I think that last year was just mind blowing. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow, because he's seen them, but he's not saying.
One of the things that I've always stand out in this country as well with young people, when there is a competition at the first year, look out for the second year and the third, because innovative minds, and like I mentioned, we because of technology now and what we could see and how far we can go, I'm sure tomorrow is going to be a mind-blowing experience. And I'm wondering how we could actually use this in tourism as well, because of course, being the income generating thing for our country, this would definitely hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and just to add, the Raspberry Pi Jam and what this initiative is simply a means to an end. And what is the end? Having entrepreneurs, having young people being able to build these apps, build all these things that are actually needed. So it's not necessarily hardware. We're basically training them to be able to build anything. Software, no problem. Hardware, no problem.
And the kits are gifted to the school,
Yes.
so they keep it in their tools for each school year.
Yes.
The PUC made a sizable investment, and we donated five per school, inclusive of kits. And when we were packing the kits, they were saying, "Oh, this is the camera, this is the the sensor." I had no idea, because it just looks like gadgets, and so. Yes, the PUC did a big investment in giving back to the schools.
So they get the pies and the accessories
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
Nice.
And we hope that eventually it will be an integral part of the IT curriculum, because currently the groups that are representing their schools are after school
That's TCC.
groups. So we want it whereby it's actually taught in the regular curriculum going forward.
There are a lot of technologically savvy people. I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of these people, and would especially after watching the show, that would want to do some experiment, on their own.
Yeah.
Are these things out for sale?
No, we don't find them right now in Belize City. I know one company carried a few, because I had a friend who called and said, "I want one of these kits for my child," and I said, "Well, we don't have any in stock. The PUC is not a retailer, we don't have." And I said, "But you can get it on Amazon." And she said, "But I wanted earlier," and I think she found it at Full Tech.
Okay.
And so I know they carry it so far, but if not, it's on Amazon, and they're really, really inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's like, what, $50?
$50 per unit.
Wait.
Belize,
And the kits?
right?
$50?
Yeah, $50
Belize.
just for the Raspberry Pi
Yeah.
itself.
The accessories are what would be the
But you
add-on.
do get kits for about $100 Belize.
And those were the kits that we gave out.
And
the
is
PUC
it
gave us.
easy to teach yourself how to do it?
Well, a lot of the stuff is on YouTube, but the kit actually comes with a little starter manual.
Okay.
But it's very intuitive, and kids can figure it out.
Sweet.
Yeah, somebody said that it was a high-tech Lego set.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think Lego indeed.
So yeah, and it's amazing what we can see that they do. When you look at the projects and you say it came from this.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see.
All right, so the event takes place tomorrow at the Ramada Princess Hotel, and you'll be able to see 24 groups of students put together some innovative projects. And the way Dalwin smiles when we talk about it, we know they're going to be interesting, but he's tight-lipped. He's not sharing any secrets this morning. All right, so you won't even tell us a little bit. They're solving problems, though.
Definitely, they're solving problems.
Okay.
They're solving problems.
Okay. I guess I won't get anything more. I tried to get more, but it gives you more of a reason to go on out and go and check out the projects of the Raspberry Pi Jam. It starts at 10 a.m. When do you announce the winner?
At 3:30.
At 3:30. So I'm sure it's going to be cool. Best of luck tomorrow, and thank you for coming in and sharing a bit of what you're doing.
All right, and thank you for having us.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be learning more about digital marketing, so stay tuned.